I don't want to sing no song. I don't want to sing a song. I hate when I say hydro. I want my money. How come I never get my money?
When I really worked with Jack Herrera, was that people couldn't agree on a narrative. And the narrative was coming from the right, which is a situation like we have today with Donald Trump. You have to remember that Ronald Reagan was never supposed to get elected. Everybody always assumed, just like Hillary, that Jimmy Carter was a shoo-in, and that this crazy guy from California couldn't possibly even become president. So when he became president, the actual drug policy didn't change that much. Because at the end of the Carter administration, marijuana policy was being run by a guy named, let me see, his name will come back to me in a minute. Herb Cleaver, what was the guy from CASA? No, he was the undersecretary of HHS. He came to prominence. He was very anti-marijuana, right? The main thing is that, Nancy Reagan took it national. They had an event with 10,000 meetings around the country, coordinated by PBS. And the point was to make marijuana the biggest public health threat in the country, and to agree to suppress marijuana as a threat to public health is like the worst, most unhealthy thing you could do. Like several orders worse of damage to the system past alcohol and tobacco. And of course, this is complete lie. But the lie was in place, at the time. And the problem was that, there was this guy named Steve Hager who had really kind of pulled in this right-wing narrative. And I couldn't relate to it. I was adrift. So this guy was not into plant herbal freedom, okay? He was just into marijuana, right? So he didn't want to listen to anything else. And that was a big problem because ultimately we got nowhere. But this Jack Herrera thing, I can talk about the Jack Herrera thing pretty good. But Jack Herrera...
Are you saying Herrera?
Herrera.
The weed man, Jack.
The Harrier.
Are you saying Herrera?
Yeah, I could never get it right. See, I always got Stroop's name wrong, too. It's Straub or something. I can't even pronounce his name.
He said it rhymes with terror.
Yeah, terror. I know. Herrera. I'm thinking of some place in Zimbabwe, man. Oh, man. But the point about Jack was he was just a really brilliant, salesman. He was really good at repeating the same thing over and over again and making it sound new each time. And that's what you have to do with the hemp information. And, Jack just had this one problem. And that was, if it wasn't already in a book, he couldn't believe it. So I gave him the book. The Emperor Wears No Clothes. It's really an interesting story. The Emperor Wears No Clothes, of course, is a story by the Grimm brothers, or whatever they were, those guys who did fairy tales. The emperor in question would be the Emperor of Austria, which was the Emperor of Germany, because they had the old empire, so the capital wasn't really in Berlin, it was in Vienna. Just so happens, the guy who wrote this book would have been emperor. But they had a revolution in 1918, and his granddad signed a treaty with Austria, and they got to keep most of their castles and stuff. Which, you know, is a fairly wealthy family. It's important to keep your stuff. Anyway, this guy didn't have a lot. He lived in a room in a nice room, nice apartment in Hamburg, which is where Hans-Georg Beer lived when he was 5, right? And, you know, every kid when they're 5 really is on the top of the world, right? And his father was the Air Defense Marshal. So this is a special kid. His mom would have been the Empress of Austria. So it's just very interesting, and I don't think that Jack really understood this. When he picked the name, he picked a name that referred to the other author of the book, because the book was like 90% this other book. They just changed some of the examples to make them American. And in fact, Jack had to take a chapter out of the book because it was controversial. And Ann Richards said, "This is anti-Catholic. You're going to like piss off my my voters." Because in the Democratic Party, Latinos are very important in the coalition in a state like Texas. So this is all the stuff about like the really terrible Spanish Inquisition coming in and killing a quarter of the population of the country that was using hemp for its sales. See, so that was where the story came in. It had something to do with also Napoleon's invasion of Russia. Russia was supplying the hemp to Great Britain, and they were trying to cut Great Britain off. This is all these like trade wars and stuff. But the real problem was that we all know marijuana. If you could just give me a warm the room up. We all know that marijuana is primarily like a medicine. And the other stuff is really great. You know, I'll eat hemp food, right? And it's true that hemp can save the planet if, you know, Donald Trump wasn't in charge of the fucking environment. But the real thing is it's a medicine. So there was kind of an argument between, is it a medicine or is it food, fuel, and fiber, right? And the medicine kind of won out because of a thing which nobody expected was, well, there was an absolutely fatal disease, right, that nobody knew about in 1980, had no knowledge of, people were getting it. It would like incubate in your body for 5 years and then you would die, right? And the only treatment that would keep you alive was brownies. You're supposed to actually eat it for AIDS. You're not supposed to smoke it, right? So here I'm a marijuana advocate like Dennis Perone or Jack Herrera, and we're going around doing marijuana rallies at which people are openly smoking marijuana. And that's kind of the state of the art at that point in 1980. And I remember we had a meeting with Dennis and Jack at the farm in San Francisco in 1982. And, you know, we're still arguing about what we were. Were we the marijuana movement? Were we something else? And, you know, actually, I'm a hippie. And that's because I'm not just into marijuana, I'm into LSD. I think, you know, the answer for the Trump phenomenon? LSD in the water supply. The Trump voters.
The hippies agreed with that.
Okay.
So
We will give
this
the.
is a
We will
good
give.
moment to say,
Hold
to
on a minute.
interject. No, that's okay. This is a good moment to interject that
gonna make
Dana
my-
Beal's views. Let's share microphones, can we?
Dana Beal's views do not represent.
The views of this station. Let me
Right,
switch
and I
to
just
this
want to
because
say one thing. We
it's
will
really
give.
important for time.
We will give the Hillary people the option of doing magic mushrooms.
So we're gonna switch mics for a second. So, those of you who do not know, this is Dana Beal. Can we have a round of applause for Dana Beal? That'll be turned on in a moment. And give it up for our projectionist and for the Lemley No Host 7. If we could have both microphones, that would be great. I'm Melissa Balen, the co-director of Jack Herer's Emperor Wears No Clothes. And we're going to have the movie play with the lights half up and German subtitles playing as we speak for a few minutes, because this is social engagement. So if you, usually they say turn your phones off in a theater, but today we encourage that you turn your phones on vibrate. And please
I'm gonna turn mine off.
share. No, because you're on Instagram. So this is Richard W. Eastman, and you can follow him on Instagram. He's also on Facebook as Richard Eastman, and on Instagram at Richard W. Eastman. I'm Melissa Balen, and I'm on Instagram at Melissa Balen on all social media, and you are the next CBD billionaires. Congratulations, and give it up for yourselves.
I'm giving you all the money.
Give a round of applause. If
Right.
you don't know what being a CBD billionaire is, you can find out by downloading my ebook for free today. It's 5 pages. It starts with 1 lucky penny, and today we have some leprechauns with us. We have Eddie Lepp on the screen we're about to see. We have the legendary Dana Beal. And we are going to run the picture while we're talking. I'd like to also introduce our artists that are on the stage. But the movie will play again at 11:45 with sound, and you'll be encouraged to share. It is copywritten material. So you'll be encouraged to share up to 1 minute of the film. This is Dana Beal. You can follow him in real life, but not too closely. And on Instagram, Twitter, and all social media at Dana Beal Speaks, where you can see 4 hours.
You can also do my Facebook page.
And you can see 4 hours of the history of cannabis, and Dana Beal Speaks. It's an incredible presentation that we've actually participated in at the Lemley Fine Arts Theater. So we encourage you to check that out. It's 4 hours of incredible content. Now this is going to play with
all the other plants that grow on Earth combined for paper.
We're still working it out, but I think we're gonna, turn down the sound so that we can still talk, have a commentary, and that you can see. This is Jack Herer's Emperor Wears No Clothes, the short documentary which premiered in 2009 for Academy Award consideration. And it is the 9-year anniversary, and thank you so much for being a part of this. Some of you were here at the original premiere. This is unique because we now have German subtitles just in time for the Berlinale. It will play for the 70th anniversary of the Berlinale next year, and it played originally without German subtitles at the 60th Berlinale. So all of us are getting younger, but the movie is getting a little bit older. So we give thanks for the continuing support, all of our sponsors. How many of you are on Instagram? All right, so we have a very special treat with us. I'd like to invite...
Not to be in, I'm in, but we're going to produce a film. And the Dennis Perone family's got a film too. I don't want to shout out the Netflix or whoever's doing it, but they're after us too. And I worked in the motion picture industry for many years. I worked at Western Costume, dressing people like Charlton Heston, Mickey Rooney, Zsa Gabor, a lot of the dead ones, Michael Jackson, but Denzel Washington's still alive. So, and one of my shout-outs to Brian Singer, who was one of my producers of the smoking over the years, paying for my plane ticket, you know. X-men, X-women, we're here. And it's all about resistance. And whether you like Hillary Clinton or Barack Obama, when Obama got on that helicopter, these were his last words leaving the White House. We have to be defenders of democracy. And I'm not mimicking his voice, but when I was with him at the House of Blues for his second re-election, and I don't only get permits for the White House, I've gotten permits for Democratic conventions for so long I forgot. But I went to Denver, there was no pot shops, he was a senator, he became president, he paid us back. I went to North Carolina, and marijuana got a little freer. Then suddenly I'm at the inauguration. It was never about me, it was about you. So a couple more lines from here, and I'm going to hand it back to Melissa. Oh, once upon a looking for Donna, she was a 16-year-old virgin. Oh, Donna, oh, Donna, oh, Donna, looking for my Donna. Oh, give me a head of hair, a long, beautiful hair. And then the Wizard of Oz. When I'm dead, I'm going to go away somewhere over the rainbow, way up high. Is a land that I dreamed of once in a lullaby. We're off to see the wizards, the wonderful Wizard of Weed. Because whatever they do to fight the greed. Dorothy, I told you they weren't ruby slivers, they were emerald slivers. If I only had a brain, I'd surely have the courage to breathe the weed again. So when we remake The Wizard of Oz, you're all invited to be munchkins. And when we win the Oscar, Dana, we can say it was for all the potheads and reefer heads and the freaks and the geeks and the nerds and the people of color and everybody that went to jail for more than 100 years to just free a damn plant. Free the weed and then go to green. Thank you.
I have to say something. I have to say that Barack Obama did not reschedule weed in August of 2016. And that's why the Democrats lost. Yeah. We need the Democratic Party politicians who now want us to support them to sign a marijuana loyalty oath. Yeah. That they will not turn coat and put Kevin Sabet and Patrick Kennedy in power. Right. We remember that Debbie Wasserman Schultz was against pot, too. And that Hillary Clinton would not endorse the Florida Marijuana Initiative, which would have caused her to win Florida and win the election. Yeah, dumbass. So they're not necessarily really with us, and we have to demand that they support marijuana is not guilty.
Free the weed and uncommon green.
All right, now in 6 minutes, Dougie Fresh, you're on. So those of you at home on the live stream, take a hit, man. And we'd like to take this moment to shout out all of our sponsors. First of all, Stoned Still, presenting, this one's yours. Hold this up. I'm going to take a snap of this. If you're on Snapchat, if you haven't deleted it, because Rihanna told you to, I'm going to delete mine tomorrow. But today I'm snapping. Yeah. I'm slapping back at Snapchat. Yeah. And this is your last chance before I delete Snapchat to win through Snapchat a Dana Beal Speaks t-shirt. So if you're on Instagram, Twitter, those of you live, hashtag hemp can save the planet, hashtag Dana Beal Speaks, hashtag not guilty, and you could win a t-shirt right now. Give thanks for our sponsors, give thanks for the artists that are here, artist PC, artist Lily Avila, artist Chef Be Live, who makes art out of food, artist Danielle Watts is here in the building, whose very body, voice, and spirit is an instrument of art. Performer, lifelong performer, and my dad, Richard Balen, who's known on Instagram as Antique Zumba, with helpful tips on how to age graciously. gracefully, whether or not we age gracefully, and hemp can help with anti-aging properties. You can find out more on Chef B Live's Instagram, and we're gonna have a 7-minute and 10-second Ask Me Anything after the movie plays with sound and German subtitles. So you have extra chances to win all kinds of prizes. Shout out to Vape RX, shout out to Dr. Brokeleg Clothing, Selectivist, shout out to Mozzie who just kicked the lean with, kicked promethazine with Selectivist. Shout out to anyone who's fighting an addiction right now. Dana Beal wants you to Google ibogaine. Kevin Saunders and Coasterdam
plant medicine
wants,
suppressed Schedule 1.
and Kevin Saunders and Coasterdam wants you to look into the benefits of magic mushrooms because all mushrooms are magic. I'm Melissa Balen, and I would like you to deschedule cannabis today, regardless of whether or not we agree, regardless of whether or not you get high or exercise your right to stay high or stay sober. Prohibition is so over. So please tweet your friends, regram, share live, and repeat and retweet. Hemp can save the planet, and we won't shut up, damn it, till every pot prisoner is free, till every patient has the right to medicate themselves. Shout out to Dennis Perone because all use is medical. Shout out to Richard Eastman, living legend who will keep on living and letting us know that hemp can save the planet, that we need to free the weed and end corporate greed. Woo! Shout out to all of you. Give thanks to those who are out of town, Valentine Extracts in Colorado. Shout out to our sponsors, Humph Journal, all the way in Berlin, Spliff Journal, all the way in the Czech Republic. Shout out to all of you watching live, and shout out to the First Lady of Japan, who said she wished that she could grow hemp, if only it weren't prohibited in Japan. Shout out to my mother, not just the plant mother, cannabis, marijuana, but my biological mother, Rochelle Balen. And if you tweet, "Every breath is a gift," we have a golden answer DVD here you could win. And breathe breaks are free on youtube.com/Balen Yoga. And thanks to CPLI 2018, you can win a Breathe Break wristband, whether you sign the initiative or not today. You have until April 30th to sign CPLI 2018 to give the right to decriminalize mushrooms. If you have an opportunity, you should speak out to decriminalize plant medicine. And thank you for speaking out. Thank you for knowing your rights. And thank you for using your rights. If you don't use your rights, you could lose your rights.
Free Dana Beal! Free Dana Beal!
Keep Dana Beal free. And we have about 3 minutes, 2 minutes.